Hi guys, Andrew Davidson here, and welcome back to another As Per My Ability video. If you like what we do here at As Per My Ability, if you like our videos, if you like our content, if you like board games in general, show us some love, hit like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell so you get notifications when we post new videos. I've heard that if you hit the bell, you get 7 years good luck. And I think at this point we all can agree that we all could go for a little bit of good luck. Now, As Per My Ability is a board game related channel. We are not affiliated politically. There's nothing political about As Per My Ability. We do have members that are members of As Per My Ability, that some are political, some are not. But this has never been a political platform on YouTube. It's always just been about games. So, having said that, I'm going to talk about a game called Police Precinct. Police Precinct is a cooperative game, and it's an older game from 2012. In the game, it allows players to take on the roles of police officers, and you will be basically the board, which is a giant board, by the way, is kind of like a 4 or 5 block radius that's your precinct, your district. And you will be going around, again, cooperatively, trying to put some things together to solve murders. Some murders have been happening. But at the same time, just like a lot of good co-op games, you've got all these little fires you got to put out. And so in the game, you will have certain events break out that you have to go deal with, such as someone like robbing a liquor store. Maybe a bar fight will break out, and so you'll need to go there. There's some thugs and rioters in streets that you will have to go and take care of. They start off small, and you're like, no, we don't have to go travel all the way over there to deal with it. And then they kind of get bigger and bigger to where it's a problem where it's like, you can deal with it now, or you can deal with it later, but it's going to be worse later, but it's more inconvenient now. The events in the deck are actually kind of cool. Every person will be taking their turn to move their car, their squad car, whatever, their police vehicle to a different spot if they can. Some of the events are kind of cool where you'll put out like a car chase. So there's like a car chase aspect to some of the events, like a stolen car. And you'll need to kind of capture that car or surround it. So that's interesting. Other times you'll have to be going to certain locations on the board that will be determined randomly, depending on how you set up, to question some people, to examine dead bodies, because like I said, the overall story of the game is someone is going around your precinct killing people, like Friday the 13th or something. Just people are dropping dead, and you're trying to prevent that and to find who the killer is. But it really is about this micromanagement. That's at least my opinion. It's about getting to the drugstore, stopping the bar fights, because as those things escalate, as you ignore them and just work on the main narrative aspect, the main objective of finding these bodies and interviewing people, these fires are going to cause your board to just escalate, and more things, bad things are going to happen. And there is a tracker on the board that if the city gets too out of control, it basically is just total riot and things like that. And that you end up losing the game. There's also a tracker where you can move to get closer. The more clues and evidence and stuff that you find about the killer that's in your precinct, that's how you win the game. So you can move that towards winning the game. Now, Police Precinct, the version that I have, the version that I showed you is the second edition. I know there was a lot of changes between the first and second edition. I can't comment on that. I can comment on the second edition. So pros and cons about Police Precinct. And I should mention that I have the second edition of Police Precinct, and from what I've read online, the first and second edition are completely really different experiences, because the second edition they managed to refine and take out a lot of the problems that the original game had. So I can't comment on any of those in regards to cons. So one of the biggest cons for me is that, well, Police Precinct, it's from 2013, second edition, and it looks dated. The artwork in today's day of gaming, artwork can be awesome, and this looks kind of plain, kind of early, like 1990s. I don't want to say cartoony, but definitely kind of drawn, illustrated people. And I feel like the board and the characters and stuff could have popped a little bit. Now, having said that, it doesn't totally take away from the game. It's not like there's like stick figures for your card. Your car is a tile. It's just a punched out tile. It's not a little miniature. So component wise, I think the game could have been boosted a little bit. Obviously, as we all know, that's going to drive up the price of the game. So I understand why they said, let's have like a little punch out thing for your vehicle, when I think it would be cool to have like a little, like kind of like a micro machine police car to move around and stuff like that. You do get to pick your character. You get to pick male or female, so they're double-sided. You basically will go around and have to use a lot of cooperation on each turn, cooperation and communication on each turn to figure out, like, okay, if I go here, because you can't ignore that overall story because people are dying and so many murders, and it's like your game's over. But you can't ignore all these like little fires that are happening, people speeding, people breaking into liquor stores and stuff, because then your city will just get worse and worse, and people will start rioting. And so there's a really good balance. I'd say that's probably a pro to the game, is that there's good balance. The con to that is that it feels thematically really messed up. It does. It just doesn't make any sense. We have police officers that are like working on this narrative of like to catch a killer. Who's the killer that's been going around 4th Precinct like killing people? And yet the cops are also like, I'll get back to you because I gotta go stop a bar fight, or someone just stole a car. And so yes, there is a detective. You can play as a detective where you will use an unmarked car. And then you can kind of say that the detective is in charge of doing the overall story, while everyone else playing will just play regular beat cops, and they will take care of all the little stuff that's happening to maintain the chaos meter in the city. But even then, it kind of seems like, well, I'm the detective in the game, and so I'm doing my thing, just rolling around, questioning people, finding the bodies, doing autopsies and, interviews, and putting together the whodunit aspect of the game, while everyone else is basically putting out these little fires. It doesn't feel cohesive sometimes when I've played, where it's like we're all working together and like, hey, come and help me with this because I can't. There's too many people like breaking into this bank or something. Like I need backup, like calling for backup. And when you have one person that's kind of delineated or marked to be like, you're going to try to work on this overall aspect of solving the game, it feels kind of disjointed, feels a little fragmented as far as the cooperative feel of the game. But overall, the game seems to be pretty well balanced as much as I've played it. You do play as police officers. You can play as a detective. The game does come with lots of different cards for events, and so you shuffle, and so the game has some pretty good replayability. In regards to the whodunit aspect and finding the murderer, that is all done in setup, and that's usually very random in regards to how you put the cards together. So the game's got some great replayability. The components could have been a little bit better, but then again, I'm thinking back, okay, 2012, and they wanted to make their game somewhat accessible so that people could buy it and not, have it cost like $100 because of all of the cool components for it. I guess that makes sense. But I think this is a pretty cool one to check out if you ever wanted to fight crime or be a police officer. Police Precinct is the game for you. It's the one that I recommend. It's cooperative, so it's got a good kind of like let's work together feeling. The game, like most cooperative games, can get completely out of hand very quickly, which is a good sign. As much as I know that's like, oh, that sounds dreadful. It's a good sign for a cooperative game. You never want to be too complacent when you're playing cooperative games. So yeah, those are kind of the pros and cons of Police Precinct, the second edition. If you guys think it sounds cool, if being a cop with your family or your friends all kind of working a beat and taking care of business, if that sounds like a theme that you guys would want to get together around a table and play, then Police Precinct is the game for you. So that's all I've got for this video. My name's Andrew Davidson, and I will see you at the next video.